Welcome to At the Vanguard. We're TB Vanguard, and our motto is for fans by fans. We showcase fans on the front line of the Team VZ movement. This podcast is an open forum to discuss current topics as they relate to Chris Brown and his fan base.
The episode that we're going to be talking about, the BET Awards. In this particular episode, it's going to be Paula and myself who are going to be leading the discussion. Nikki won't be joining us. Paula's representing the East Coast as usual. I'm representing the West Coast as usual with the time differences. We sent out those 3 polls earlier this week just to get some feedback on what people thought about the awards. And now we're going to talk about them again. So I'm sorry, Paula, I just wanted to kind of do a reset.
That's great. That's perfect. We know that's not my forte.
And if you can see us, can you just kind of let us know that you're on, like wave or say hi or something like that so we can see that you can hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Where are you calling from?
Well, do I have to say my location?
Oh no, we're just saying East Coast, West
Okay,
Coast,
Midwest.
oh, Midwest. Okay, great.
Okay.
We know your time zone. Okay. That's okay. How did you view the BET Awards?
TV.
On TV and
BET.
cable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I think most of us in the United States watch that way. We're waiting to hear how a few other people watched it.
And the reason that we posed that question is because there's a lot of international people who wanted to see the BET Awards but were unable to get a link that was functional. And so some of the things that we were asking in that particular poll, we're going to be giving that feedback back to BET to let them know that the app that they advertised wasn't working for a lot of people. And I don't know why they have a problem doing a live stream for the BET Awards when everybody wanted it, but we did see a couple of blog pages were actually having a link, but you had to go, again, watch all the ads that they had as placements while you were looking at it on the live stream. So we just wanted to know what the majority of people were doing and how they were able to view the BET Awards.
The second question we had was, what was your favorite part of Chris Brown's performance?
Everything. Everything. I mean, like, the choreography was really nice.
Yeah.
I was like dancing in my living room, just like, watching him. He's a great performer, so I was just really excited to just watch him do his thing.
Yeah, I sit in my chair and pretend that I can move like that, but yeah, my limbs don't move that way. It looks like we have someone else who just joined.
Pragan, is that how you say your name? I don't know if he can hear us yet, but he just joined.
We'd love to hear the correct pronunciation of your name. We're just guessing with our American accent.
So how about if I take over this part, Paula, real quick?
Okay, sure.
So, and we can come back and talk about the performances. We know he always kills the stage. We were so happy to see that, this time he was nominated, although he did not win. But one of the things that we asked is the third poll question, and we really want everybody's feedback, is how did everybody feel about the fake news that was broadcast after the awards, where they tried to get Chris involved in some scandal that we know from the videos that were posted Chris was not even involved in. Obviously showed that he was unbothered. We want everybody to contribute, so if you would say your name and then say what you want to, what your opinion of it is, that would kind of help us hear everybody's opinion and voice.
Well, my name is Sin, and I just felt like I'm actually really proud of him because he didn't, react or say anything about the situation, and he still hasn't. So I feel like that shows a lot of growth on his end.
Yeah.
And, people are always going to, try to put him in this, like, box of, like, being, like, angry or he can't control himself or whatever the case may be. But I'm just proud that he didn't, outwardly show anything. We don't know what was going on in his head, but at least he didn't show it like for everyone else to see.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm Pragyan.
Pragyan?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
great.
what are we talking about right now?
We were
Hello?
talking about hi. We were talking about our reactions to the fake news about the BET Awards, and you know, even though it showed, we had videos showing that Chris was not involved in it. The fake news, of course, put his name in as if he was a part of it, and we just wanted to know, you know, your reaction to that.
Actually, like, I think like Migos really wanted to go off on Chris Brown, but he really didn't give it. He really didn't. He was really unbothered by that Migos interaction, though. When I saw the video, but in the after party video, I think they fought a little bit. And Future and DJ Khaled was also involved in that.
Yeah, they actually didn't fight at all. There was no fight. That scuffling you saw was them making sure that Chris didn't get pushed into it. That was
Yeah,
what was his
Chris
name?
was getting back away from that controversy. I
Right.
think.
Yeah, but he was not he was not involved in any kind of altercation with them at all.
That
Right.
so video one in the garage, like in the parking lot, was like that was the coolest Chris Brown. That was the coolest Chris Brown. Like he was just leaning on his car, not giving any damn about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was great.
Yeah, he was so unbothered. We were so happy to see him just leaning there, spinning his phone, you know.
With all that commotion going around him, but you know, but of course the media will, because he was there, use his name, but they wanted to get those clicks in. So that's how they get the clicks, using Chris's name.
And guys, did you see one like a video like when I think Takeoff or Offset, one of those guys were getting interviewed by TMZ, and they told that they asked Chris Brown to get in their level, like they were simply interviewed in the streets, like how TMZ does it, and I think Offset, like he told Chris Brown that to get on their level, like I was like, what? Like really, like now Chris Brown has to be on Migos level right now.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think the problem is, Offset probably should have just said nothing, because he was being baited. They were pumping, they had somebody in the background saying, "Oh, he doesn't seem to be, popular," and Offset said, "Oh, we're at the top of the game." So for him to have the audacity to say Chris needs to be on their level, Chris is an international superstar, and it just showed how these people up to make comments. And I'm pretty sure Offset regretted what he said, but they sucked him in, and that's what fake news does. They try to get somebody to say something, and they were hoping and praying that Chris would say something back, and Chris didn't say anything. And I'm sure you guys saw the post that Chris made on his Instagram yesterday, saying that he was just going to let his music and his performances speak for himself. Did everybody see that Instagram post?
Yeah.
Yes, that was good. I think they just arrived. I just heard it.
That's me. I'm steady coming because like the call keeps dropping.
Oh,
yes.
April, please hang in there. We want your feedback. And before we continue, we just want to say we're so happy that you guys are on this one, because we love getting new voices. And so if there's a disconnect, please come back in again, because we want to have everybody's input.
Yeah, I'm happy too. Like I was trying to be in here like since like last week, but I couldn't be here last week, so I tried to be here now. So I'm really happy right now talking with you guys.
We're happy you're here too.
Now,
Very
one
pleased.
of the other things we wanted to talk about was, with the fake news, is that everybody knows it's all clickbait, and that's why we had that poll question. Yeah, because we had the poll question to let people know that fake news equals clicks, and you just really hope that people can really realize it. Don't click on that story, because every time you do that, they're saying, wow, there's an interest in what we're saying, and they're going to continue to do it.
exactly. And even with the video showing that Chris was not in any fight, they still kept putting that headline on because Team Breezy, wanting to clear it up, went in and arguing, but what they're doing is being sucked into the little conspiracy. They keep that going because every click is money for them. Every argument on their page is money for them. So they don't care. They don't care about Chris. They don't care about Migos or anything else. All they care about is that you've come in there, you've clicked, you've left a comment, and that means money for them. So that's key.
And I think like they were expecting a reply from Chris Brown. Like he always puts a comment on like everything that they accuse him for, and he always puts a comment on it. And this time also they were expecting some kind of comment by Chris Brown on their pages. So like, and ultimately it hypes up their page. You know what I'm saying? Like so this time Chris didn't like reply or put any comments on that, and that's pretty good.
I agree. And I think he's finally getting and everybody's finally getting the message that, the more attention you give them, the more money you put in their pocket. So just ignore them. That's the best. That's the best medicine.
Yeah.
Ignore them.
Yeah, it was amazing to me to see, this is April, to see that even though there was video footage that showed that he was not doing anything, and they were steady reposting that he had something to do with that Vibe magazine posted that he did not. There was between him and Amigos. There was a couple more publications, that kind of thing.
Right. They come back with the
think,
same thing.
I think that's one of the things that we did. I mean, I sent a post out earlier before we did the 3 polls, and I said, these are these, the fake news agencies, and I said we're adding Billboard and we're adding Complex to that list of being trashed blogs, because they're searching for their name. And when they see that, like, we stopped posting Billboard numbers just because of the fact that they were trash and they were inconsistent on how they were treating Chris. But the thing that we have to do is when we see blogs like Vibe, who came out, like April said, and said, totally refuted what TMZ was saying, we went ahead and reposted what Vibe said, and we reposted and said, facts, here's some facts of what was going on. And Paula did a great job of reposting that video from TV Vanguard that showed that there was video proof that he wasn't doing anything. But when we see somebody like Vibe or somebody like Global Grind being honest, we will post it. But if they were one of the ones, like if say Billboard comes and posts something positive about Chris, we're still not going to post it because of the trash that they did before. So
exactly. Even actual altercation between Migos and Joe was posted, and I reposted it to this altercation with Chris Brown. They still were posting crazy stuff, and I'm like, people are crazy.
Did you?
And even that was a very interesting interaction. I don't know. That was all complete miscommunication.
It was.
It was complete miscommunication. That's all that was.
Yeah, and now can we get to the performance part, or you actually want?
Well, okay. You wanted to say something about the performance?
I just want to talk about that fake news thing. It's okay. I can listen to it. But I want to talk about it was great. Like that performance was great. He killed it. Like the last part where he put like a little bit of flute music and that party song. That was good, great. You know what I'm saying? Like but the fact when Complex didn't even mention his performance in the top 10 performance in the BET, then that it was like really sad for me. Like I was like angry Thomas didn't put that performance in the top 10 performance of the night. How come it can happen like that? Like he was like better than Bruno Mars, I think.
But that's part of what our problem was with them as a so-called media outlet. They want you to be outraged and come at them, so you give them clicks, and that's what happened. It's just like it's really hand in hand with the way they handled the interview and the fight that never happened, or the fight that didn't involve Chris. So, I mean, that's their method, and they want you to be angry so they'll get your attention. That's why they did that.
Yeah, it's honestly all a business. That's how they make their money. So they don't really care how low they have to stoop to, be financed. So
I
Exactly,
think that's
Stan.
interesting because, see, something like that for me turns me completely in the opposite way because it makes me not even want to give you ratings anymore. I'm not going to watch anything like that. And it actually, honestly, as an artist, I just don't know how beneficial that would be for his brand to continue participating in that. But if that's what's going to happen when you do, it's kind of a distraction. And, that's how I look at that. It looks like a distraction from what my actual focus should be, which is my career and trying to put on a great performance. And I watched his interview after with Tiger, and he said he was nervous about his performance, and he performed excellent. But I'm like, was there no one there telling him what a great job he did? Because we saw some really bad performances there. I was appalled at some of the stuff I saw. I was like, whoa, he is taken to another level. I could tell some people wasn't there for their rehearsal set. They needed to be there. There were a lot of things that took place. You just could see what was professional and what wasn't.
Right.
Very surprised. I thought Bruno Mars had a great performance. I think he did a great job opening up. I think he did great. And I like the overall thing. I did like the communication. I like Chance the Rapper's communication. I thought that they spoke from the heart, and I think that that's important. And I didn't like that Chris didn't get to speak or have more interaction. And, we didn't get to see him. We only got to see him perform, and that was it. But I only see that also with Big Sean or, I thought that was interesting. Like, people you want to see more interaction from, you don't get that from them. Same thing, I saw Future perform more, but we don't ever really see any more commentary from them. I think they should have more input in that, in that production of that, the performances.
Yeah. But I think it's a little bit of them choosing not to. In particular, Chris, he's been kind of hands out. I can't say that for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's why, because they want him as much as they can. And he was at the end, and we did come back and say, don't turn it off, because he went in the after hours thing with Future. Did you see that? Okay.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw his demeanor, and I don't know, he was very reserved. He was very, he didn't seem like his go-lucky, personable self that he normally is in interviews. He was much more reserved and much more preserved in his interaction with Tiger.
Yeah, but part of the problem, I think, is twofold. I remember this is the first time that they had the BET Awards without Stephen Hill leading the effort. And they had a totally different group of people who were directing the BET Awards, and all of it was still underneath Deborah Lee. And I think the second thing is, and this is a topic we're going to be talking about a little bit later, Chris had the whole restraining order BS hanging over his head, so I'm sure he was trying to be low-key and get his performances done because of the fact that, another person was there that BET had to keep a certain distance away from Chris. I'm sure that kind of weighed on him as well because he couldn't have any hiccups in that regard.
Yeah,
And that was another thing that bothered me. I'm I get you volunteering to come and show up to an event, but you're being a part of that. No, I would not have absolutely not watched that. And that actually, no, I was very annoyed to see that. We're there to see real talent being honored at this event, not jump off from other people's talent. And that bothers me, that we are allowing just any and everything coming out of the industry from these reality shows and everything else. We're talking about real people who have worked their butts off from childhood to be in these positions, and they should be honored and respected at this event. So I kind of have an issue with BET because of that, because I feel like you need to watch the caliber of people who are presenting these awards to these respectable individuals.
But this is Paula. One issue, though, it's that we were talking about earlier, is the fans. Oh, look at what this says, and they're reposting it and saying, "Oh, go drag them." That's exactly what you don't want to do, because going to drag them is just giving them clicks. It's just giving them money. Going in to drag them doesn't hurt their feelings. They don't care. They don't care about any of it. Yeah, it's not personal at all. It's all money. And until we realize that and stop reposting their stories, stop even mentioning their name, and at least in our post, then that's what will kill them. What kills them is ignoring them. That's what hurts their pockets, because that's all they care about is the money.
And that's
None
the
of
thing.
these stories.
They'll flip on anybody in a heartbeat. And I think one of the things that people have to understand, especially people on international locations who are outside the United States, when you go to Google and you're searching and something pops up, that's SEO, that's word optimization. If people keep saying these words, it pushes it up higher and higher on the Google search. And that's why those stories pop up as number one or number two or number three, is because people keep talking about it. So we just don't want to, we don't want to add fuel to the fire by, like Paula said, reposting it or telling people to drag, because every time you mention Chris and Migos and whatever in the same story, those stories get pushed up higher and higher on the Google search bar. And I think we start to see, we know how it works. We see how the fake news works, and it's hard to resist it, but they're just playing us. And again, they'll flip it on anybody. They have no loyalty to anyone,
It's just like, that's why I'm like, stream request, because I see what they're trying to do to him, and it's just not fair. Like, everybody else gets breaks, and, I've seen, I'm not going to say his name because I like him too, but I've seen him punch a fan in the face and what?
Oh.
It wasn't a big deal. He
God.
didn't like too, but, when Chris, but let Chris do that.
It's over.
It's going to be all over the
over.
world.
It'll be over.
But here's the thing.
but,
Here's the thing that we know, though. Chris, there's something that will always be in Chris's side, is there's no one who has the talent that Chris has. No one.
Right.
And we just need to make sure we get back to focusing on the talent and not all the other stuff. Chris hasn't responded to anything publicly since May, and today's July 1st, right? So he's not adding any fuel to the fire like he used to do. So all we can do is make sure that all those collaborations that he has, we created a playlist on Spotify. We're going to send that back out again for people to do. I mean, he's got Janae and all those other people working with him.
Yeah.
He's got his album coming out. So what we want to do is we want to just keep focusing on the talent. And when the documentary is released to the public in August, we're going to pick back up again and start talking about the things that were in the documentary, but actually having professionals come in, because we don't want to be premature, but
I think that documentary can be a real lesson to the world, actually. I mean, they talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. They talk every time they write about it. They talk about 2009. Now you got a documentary out about 2009. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, you know,
I don't want to hear the truth.
you got to remember
Because
too.
they don't want
Yeah.
to promote it. They don't want to promote or do anything to help him. That's why.
But here's the thing, though.
You know?
To be fair, it hasn't come out for public release until August, though, right? So what we can do as fans is when it comes out officially, that's when we're gonna have our podcast with the experts talking specifically about it in regards to the official documentary. That's what we can do. You know, people, until it's free and people can see it for free, they're not gonna talk about it. They're not. All I'm saying, it should be streamed somewhere like Netflix or something until people get a chance to see it.
I thought
for
it.
free.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it should have gone to HBO or something.
And it will.
Oh, it will.
It will. It will.
Yeah.
All right, either HBO or Netflix will pick it up. And I'm hoping it's Netflix. So those people watch that more than do cable TV.
That's true. Yes.
And something else too, I think that the podcast is a fantastic idea. And another reason, there are so many other topics that we're gonna be able to spin off from that. Also with the fact, not just the fact that yes, the molestation and the abuse and what happened there, but also look at the difference in between how one star who is of a different race being treated with domestic abuse than versus other races being treated with domestic abuse. How it's been swept under the rug or not even mentioned when there is all kinds of evidence that, you know, not only that, but the chick took pictures of herself and showed pictures of herself being punched in the face, and we ain't heard no more about that woman. I ain't seen her no more.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, wow, you know, that's just kind of crazy.
And that's why it's important for all of you to always be part of the conversation, you know. And the reason we say, well, where are you from? We're not trying to get people, because we want to make sure we've got people from the East Coast, West Coast, North, South, people outside the United States, you know.
Right.
People who were like Pragan was from India, you know. We've got people from the islands who are trying to get in. So we want to get all the people to come in and have a conversation, because there's cultural things that dictate certain behavior, and there's things that we can do because we're growing up as fans. We have the ability to start publishing things. We have the ability to get the word out ourselves.
Yes.
And
Having a voice.
yeah, and like April said, these are topics that touch a lot of people. And
Yes.
you know, one of the things that I was trying to make sure we kind of touched at the beginning of the conversation was, how did you get to see the BET Awards? Because I want to go back to BET and say, hey, having it just on cable, a lot of people don't have a cable channel. You're going to have to get something done with this app that you have. This mobile app's not working. Or
Right.
don't be
You're
afraid.
exactly right. That streaming was horrible.
Exactly. And then we have...
I couldn't even stream the game. Well, I could stream it, but it was spotty. Everybody was complaining about it on
Yeah,
Twitter.
the quality was not good.
That lets me know that their servers, they have not done a good job with those servers. So that lets me know, because everybody was trying to come on and watch the game.
Right.
So you didn't have to make a good enough server, a citric in place to hold the amount of users on there. So that alone, I was kind of like, hey, what's going on?
And I think probably what happened is, and this is because I'm a numbers person, I do a lot of analytics for Team Breezy. What we think what happened is we were publicizing the BET experience, the celebrity basketball game, and a lot of other people were too. But what happened is, I think the international fans overwhelmed the server that was online. Too many people were trying to look at it, and it couldn't handle, the buffering was starting to trip up. So that's stuff that we can come back to BET and say, hey, we're fans, we were promoting it, but you guys need to, you know, make your system a lot more robust. Make sure your apps are actually working. Make sure you go in there and have somebody talking on the screen so people don't think that the screen is sitting there dead. Remember how Tammy, the screen was dead, and everybody's saying, what do you see on the screen? Or what do you see on the screen? You know, so that's what we think we're going to try and do, is make sure that they know about it.
So, what do you guys think that Chris has cooking up? Because I've noticed that he's kind of like quiet on social media now. I feel like he has something, like he's really focused on something. I don't really know what, but I feel like he's really focused. But he's been really quiet. So what do you guys think, like, he's putting his attention to right now?
Music. I'm hoping it's an international tour and that he's actually going to be going over to the UK and places like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he might be doing movies and stuff too. Remember, 50 Cent was trying to get him on Power. But Chris, there's no telling. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I feel like music too, but I don't know. Like
Rebecca?
Is that Rebecca?
I just got back on.
Okay. But you know, I don't know if you guys know, but that Ice Cube has that new League 3 game series that he just started with the professional basketball players who retired. And I'm thinking Chris is trying to get a team put together for like celebrities who can actually ball like him. I think he's been working on that.
I think that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic to watch.
But he's not. You guys are right. He's cooking up something because he's too quiet in the background, and we know he can't.
He's been really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. I don't know. It would be interesting to see though. But I just know like he has something that he's planning or he's working on, because this has happened like for a while now. He's been really quiet. So I'm like, I want to know what you're working on, what you got going on, like, you know.
And it's got to be something big because of the fact that he's so quiet about it, you know?
Yeah.
I think, too, Chris is maturing, and he's becoming wiser, and he's starting to realize, I think he's becoming more of an observer, and watcher, and more reserved, and more, I just think that's part of maturity, especially in the position that he's in, you know, and being careful of how you're reacting and how you're responding. I think that is just a part of becoming a mature celebrity. You know, been burned several times.
Right. Yeah.
I think the fact that he's such good friends with Diddy, and Diddy has so much business knowledge and has his hands in so many successful things, if some of that can rub off on Chris, at Chris just being 28, Chris is going to be making all kind of moves.
Yeah.
You know?
He's very business-minded. Like, I've noticed, I feel like he's very business-minded. He doesn't, like, come out and straight be like, oh, I have this going on, this going on, this going on. But I can tell he's very business-minded. Like, he makes sure that he's financially straight. And you never hear about him struggling about, you know, anything financially. So I know that that would be really good if he is working with Diddy or, like, picking up a few things here and there from people.
Well, I know he wants a basketball team. Remember he was saying he wanted to be part owner of a basketball team? So that's why I was thinking he's doing that three league thing. But there's so many things he's talented in and so many things he's interested in. For us, we just got to wait and see what he actually starts letting us know about, you know?
Yeah. But as you can tell, his is very sound. A lot of people, you know, they come with their fake jewelry, and I say fake jewelry, but I mean, you know, they wear a lot of jewelry. They, you know, you can't. All of your wealth cannot be worn on you. Just like JC was talking about, you know, you got a fake, you know, stack of money to your ear like a phone. That's no real money. I mean, it's a lot of money to us, but I mean, it's not real money. It's not working for you while it's sitting in your house or sitting in your hand. You know, that money has to make your money work for you. Exactly. But he definitely has real wealth, and the fact that he buys even things like homes cash, and that's something he learned from his mother. I know that. But he even buys his homes cash. When other people have lost homes multiple times, he did the property ladder the correct way. He bought that condo, and then he moved to I think that was a rental, but then he moved to a more expensive house, and now he has his dream house, and it's paid for. as opposed to
And and
having
the
a
house
mortgage.
in VA too.
Yeah, the houses in VA.
Right. Oh yeah.
But here's the thing,
I
though.
forgot about
mean,
those. Yeah.
The thing is
But
that
did he sell his other house? The other house he was living in before he moved to this new one?
yeah, he had a house in
Yeah.
Hollywood Hills. He sold that house. Yeah.
No, the other one, the one he moved to after the Hollywood Hills.
That was a
Then
rental.
he moved
That was
to,
a rental.
That was a rental.
Oh, that was a rental. Oh, okay.
That was a rental while that house was being, the house that he's in right now was being finished.
Oh, okay.
So one of the, I
And he
could,
grew all over it.
yeah,
Maybe art. Maybe he's indulging in more art too, because he's drawing a lot.
Oh,
and
that's
all
true.
over the house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it looks really good, though. It looks really nice. I love his painting.
I want him to get his shoe line together. That's what I want. Because remember, today is the sample sale that they had in Paris for Black Pyramid. And Black Pyramid is
Oh, yeah.
doing crazy, but I want to see him get his shoe line together because I know that's one of the things he was working on too.
Oh, that would be so hot.
Yeah.
I know he has so many ideas.
Yeah,
'Cause he was
definitely.
even hooking up Kanye's shoes.
Yeah,
Well, the one she
yeah.
gave him, at least.
And then remember too, way back when Chris was he was part owner and creative director for that Zing Vodka. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, they got bought
Oh, I
out
didn't know that.
2 years ago. That whole Zing vodka got bought out, and now somebody told us. Actually, I told Paula this last year that they heard Chris was getting into alcoholic beverage industry somehow. Remember that guy, Paula, that I was telling you about? He
Oh,
said
that's
that
right.
they were
Yeah.
working on something. He was a reporter for Los Angeles. So I don't know. I don't think he's gonna get into the vodka market because that seems to be saturated with Diddy doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
But you can see that you're talking about beverages, and he's always looking at other opportunities. But Zing did pretty good, and Zing is actually still a strong brand over in the UK and Europe. So he's always got his fingers in something. But I want to see. I want to know what you guys think about royalty. We didn't talk about the little clip that Joyce posted of royalty singing a little more. What did you guys think about that?
Oh my God. So cute.
And it was so
Yeah.
cute.
So
It was
cute.
so cute.
I want to know.
Singing and her dad.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I want to know how she's gonna look back on that song, because you can tell that that song is really, like, it's so genuine. So I want to know how, like, her reaction would be to it when she's older and she can understand it a little bit more. Like, I'm sure that she knows the song is about her because he says her name in the song.
Right.
But I
Right.
want to know what she looked like when she looks back on it, like how she would feel. So I think that's really nice and it's sweet.
And it was
Yeah,
so
it'd
cute
be
to see her
interesting
do
to
like
see.
that interpretive dance kind of, when she put her hands up over her
I was
head.
like, she must be taking interpretive dance. When I saw that, I was like, how would she know to do that? She must be taking dance
It
lessons.
was so cute. I mean, and she was so, like, the way she was dancing was so free and it wasn't forced or anything. She was just dancing to that song. It was just that was so cute. And it was just like, it was beautiful actually, because you could see like a child just enjoying the music and all. It was great.
Yeah, it was. And she was singing the words.
She's really
Yeah,
smart.
word.
She's really smart for her age. Like,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
speaks so well. When you
Yeah.
do hear her speak, she speaks so well. Like, you can tell they have her in a lot of activities. Just like Chris, he said he was in a lot of activities too when he was younger. So, yeah, she's gonna be one very creative kid when she gets older.
And it's funny
Oh, I
because you
think
see
so.
that
I think
raw talent, that raw ability
Mhm.
right there. And Rosie just turned 3 years old, and you
Exactly.
see it. You see it's God given. Deserve it. That's what he deserves.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, like he's not gonna put it out, but even before, so. And I'm happy for it because, they would have just found more reason to bring up more things just to keep those going. So, it would be good. I think this album is definitely gonna be different from the other ones in a really good way.
Yeah.
It's gonna stream like crazy.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yes.
but you know what though? Just from a numbers, yeah, but from a numbers perspective, he should do well. You know, and I kind of wish Chris would keep Grass Ain't Greener on there, because I think, to me, Grass Ain't Greener, the lyrics to the song, I think that I like that type of lyrics that Chris does on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Grass and Greener is so underrated, I feel like.
I
It's
agree.
such a,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like, you know, sometimes, like, the fans, we want certain songs to be promoted more than others, but, you know, sometimes things don't work out that way. But I do feel like Grass and Greener is, like, definitely underrated.
Well, I'm hoping. Remember, you guys were talking about what's Chris working on? What's Chris working on? I'm hoping Chris is going to come up with his own radio channel. Don't you? And I think somebody else has their own little radio channel. I want Chris to have his own radio channel.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because if he did that, he could actually bring back like R&B or whatever it is he's trying to bring back, because he'll be putting other artists on there to play too. So I'm hoping that Chris is going to have like his own radio channel, like on iTunes or whatever, so that people can listen to his channel of music, and that's going to help with the spins as well.
Yeah.
And we'll do our
If he-
part, right?
Yeah, if he plans this out well, this is gonna be like really game changing for him. Like,
I agree.
if he really plans out these next couple of months for himself, it's gonna catapult him into great things next year. Like, I know it. Like, this is gonna be like, it's gonna set the standard, I feel like.
I agree. And I think he just needs to let stuff die down and get a fresh new start as far as how to roll it out and not be tied to anything. And I think that's great. I think every day that he doesn't say anything, we're like, yeah, this is what we like, you know.
Yeah.
Because we all know, including us, when the whole story comes out that we know is not true, what's everybody doing? They're not looking at the story. They're looking at Chris's Instagram, and they're looking at Chris's Twitter, and they're looking at Chris's Instagram live and story, and they're glued to it, just seeing something will happen, is something going to happen. Well, all eyes are still on him, you know, and it showed level of maturity that we hadn't seen, you know, since May, a level of maturity. So.
Yeah, and he should be proud of himself for that, because I know it's not easy, you know, when your life is like broadcasted in front of the whole world, to criticize and judge on the daily, and then you have to sit quiet and you're like, ooh, if I could just, you know, just tell this person, you know, it's not easy. You know, we're not like famous or anything, so, you know, if we wanted to say something to someone, it's probably over the next day. But for him, if he says anything, it's all over the place. You know, and it's like everybody has feelings, everybody has emotions, but I'm really proud of him for, you know, keeping his emotions intact and not, you know, going off on anyone or anything. It shows a lot of growth on his part.
Ask a question.
Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What made each of you Chris Brown fans? I'm just curious.
Okay, for me, and how old was I? I was 47, because I'm in my 50s. I went to see because I don't have children or anything that would have told me anything about him, and I stopped watching award shows back when they low-key banned Michael, because I was a Michael Jackson fan since I was 8 years old. But I went to see I went to see This Christmas, and I heard him sing. I was like, oh my God, that kid's got pipes. And that's when I became a fan. When I heard, and I went home and, you know, looked up his music and all that. And yeah, that's how I became a fan from This Christmas.
Well, for me, you know, I was in high school when Chris came out, and he's the same age as my brother. So when Chris came out, I just got my license. I got permission to drive my brothers back and forth to school with me. And that's all they listened to is Chris Brown, Chris Brown, Chris Brown when I was driving in the car. And, you know, I loved him. I love the song. I love the music. I love the whole energy. And like they said, Chris had a different sound that nobody else had. So that reminds me of high school days, you know, when he first came out. And I've been a fan ever since. And I think I got to be even more of a fan when he went through the stuff that he went through with Rihanna. Because it was, again, he's the same age as my brother. And my brother had, you know, relationships with his girlfriends that were weren't always the best. And for me, it was always about the music and the talent. But then seeing him grow as a man and as a father, we're all growing together at the same time. So he's a year and a half younger than me. So it's almost like to me, he's like a brother or cousin. They're like a family member to me. So that's how I feel. But it reminds me of high school days, like especially Run It. I remember, rolling down the car, looking at guys with my brothers in the car, trying to get out of the parking lot at school. So it reminds me of my high school days. What about you guys? How did you guys come?
Well, for myself, go ahead. You go first.
For me, I actually started becoming a fan, like probably like late 2011, 2012. So I kind of came like a little bit later because I was really young when he like first came out. He always was a part, like musically, always a part of like what I listened to. But I never really like got into his, I guess, personal life until like maybe like 2011, 2012 to see like, okay, what is he about? Let me learn a little bit more about him. So that was really like when I started looking into his music more and stuff like that.
Okay, for myself, maybe like kind of a fan. Well, I always was a fan, but I wasn't a fan like on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. It was more so if I hear a song, I knew who he was, I've seen him about the Rihanna thing, but I wasn't like involved, like tweeting or anything like that. And Fine China came out, and I loved that song. So it drew me a little more to him. And then once I started, listening to his music, I like his music, I always have. And when I started seeing really the media and how they treat him and stuff like that, it really drew me in really more. Because I'm like, this is so unfair. And the music and his talent, and I just couldn't believe that someone so talented and how they treated him in the media and how they spoke about him and what they said. It was just like, that really drew me more into being a fan and a supporter.
So let me ask you all a question. How many times have you seen Chris perform live? And what was your experience about that?
I seen Chris perform live.
Yeah, I seen him.
And it was great. It was great. It was like great. Me and my girlfriends went, and it was really good. It was a really good show, and Chris is like phenomenal. He had a lot of energy, and the whole show put together, and he knows a lot of people, a lot of guest appearances come out. I mean, I was really worn out, honestly. Because I live in New York, so when they came here this last time when I went to see him, oh boy, and then out there in that sun over there in New Jersey, oh boy, I was worn out and tired.
So you saw him on the party tour then? You saw the party tour, right?
Yeah, I took her at the party tour and then the Hot 97 Summer Jam. Yeah,
okay.
Oh, that's right.
A bit much. So once you go see Chris Brown, you'll always go see Chris Brown. If you can afford to.
Okay, who else again?
Yeah, I've seen him live too. It wasn't like his official concert, but like it was one of the it's called like a festival. And I saw him. I wish I could go to like a real like Chris Brown headlining concert because I feel like I could get the real experience. But from what I did go and see, it was amazing. So I was really happy about it.
Yeah, I've seen him in both festivals and his official concerts. The first time I saw him was in Australia. It's really funny. I saw it was Rihanna's tour. Remember her Good Girl Gone Bad? I think it was.
Yeah.
in '08.
Yeah.
Was that going back? And
Oh wow.
I'm not I'm not a Rihanna fan because I don't like pop music. I just don't like pop music. But I wanted to see him, and it was really cheap, like really cheap to go. And I live in the States, but it was like a really cheap ticket to go. And I'm like, I'm going. So I went, and he was really amazing. They did a co-headline kind of thing, but it was an interesting moment in time. It was just before everything turned upside down. So it was like a little, it was like a little encapsulated moment in time. And I didn't have the kind of phone that could record it. I mean, I guess I did. I don't know. I didn't get any real footage, but I had a BlackBerry. That's what I had. And then when I came back, I saw him. Of course, it was after everything happened. Then I saw him at the Fat Tour, and I saw a couple of shows at the Fat Tour. The Fat Tour really taught me that he's a true performer. I grew up in the '70s. Lots and lots of great concerts in that era. It's kind of known as like the great era of concerts. And Earth, Wind and Fire, Jackson 5, all of them. And I compare him to James Brown. I think we had this conversation before, because when I saw him on the Fat Tour, I saw him in 2 different shows. He does different things, even though there's a rehearsed part, but he does different things based on the reaction of the audience. He really feeds off the audience. And the audience in Philly, because I didn't see him in DC because I was sick for that one. The audience in Philly was so hyped. And evidently they're always hyped like that. But Philly crowd was so hyped that he went longer. He did different songs. He was really into it because of the crowd. And same with New York. So in New York, of course, they had Jewels and a couple other things. So it was just a whole different dynamic based on the audience, and that's a true performer when they feed on the audience reaction. That's my mark of a great performer. Yeah, he's up there. He's definitely up there with the greats.
And
I would compare him to James Brown like that.
And I've been to a lot of Chris concerts, a lot of them. But I think the thing that I will always treasure the party tour, because it was everything me as a fan wanted Chris to do. Oh, I want this kind of setup. I want Chris to have, a live band. Oh, I want Chris to sing live. Oh, I want the dancers and the clothing and all that. It was everything me as a fan wanted, because the production on the party tour was just, it was a Beyonce level, over the top of the line, everything you wanted. But I think the thing that stuck out the most was, because I've seen him in tour before, but this is the first time I saw Chris smiling and so happy performing. It was almost like he had peace with himself while he was on the stage performing, and it was like a genuine smile and a genuine happiness. And I hadn't seen that, except maybe
not for a long time.
Maybe I don't think I had seen that with him on tour before, because when he was on tour for Between the Sheets tour, he was going back and forth with Trey Songz, and that was distracting,
Yeah.
And when he did One Hell of a Night, you could see it was more, there were so many opening acts for Chris at One Hell of a Night that by the time Chris came on, I was like, just get on, Chris. I'm tired of all these opening acts. I just want to see you perform.
Right.
So me as being in the audience was tired, But this party tour, all the opening acts were integrated a better way. But him being in the round, being in the center, and being able to reach everyone around him, I think he as a performer felt that he was reaching all of the audience. And I just saw him smiling so genuinely and being so happy with him dancing, because some dancers, when they love to dance, you just see the happiness in them just dancing, and I got that feeling from him in the party tour. So it was good to see that joy come back to his performance.
Yeah, I think that the Between the Sheets, like, that was a rough time for him. He had a lot going on, with he was he still on probation?
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think he was just trying to get off.
Problems.
Yeah. He had a lot of problems with that tour. So I think that's great that you said that, he looked like he was genuinely happy and enjoying himself. Because, that was a tough point. I remember that.
Yeah. But I'm so happy that he's going to be performing next Saturday at Drez. It's good to see him come back to Drez and be
It's
part
good
of the.
for them to have him back.
Oh yeah, it's good for both. But you know, one of the things that we noticed is that the number increased after Chris performed on the BET Awards. His sales went back through the roof again on iTunes for Privacy and for a Party. And what we've noticed is that when Chris performs in Las Vegas, his sales for his singles go back up through the roof again. So he hadn't been at Vegas at Drez since somewhere around the beginning of the year, like February or something like that. So with him being there next Saturday, you know, we should see the sales for his singles go back through the roof again, because that's what he needs, is for people to see him perform again live. You know, a lot of people saw BET. I think it was like Privacy went up like 80%, and Party went up 300% in sales just from the BET Awards. So
yeah, that's why they go there to perform.
Yeah, that's what Tim said.
Exactly.
Millions of people watching.
Yeah.
We want to thank you guys for participating. You know, it means so much to us, because you know, we know how we feel, but we always want to hear how you guys feel. And you know, if any suggestions or you have any topics you think would be a great topic for us to talk about, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to bring it up. But we're trying to do a podcast every week, and we're going to have one next week too, because we want to let the fans have a chance to say things. We also want to make sure we keep, you know, we might go back to the documentary next week. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but we don't want to lose sight of the documentary and all the things that we learned about Chris. And, you know, a lot of things about Chris that people still don't know, like the general public doesn't know about Chris. So we want to keep letting people know who he is and what he's about. And, you know, having people participate definitely helps get that discussion going.
Thanks for joining us on this episode, and we hope you'll join us again at the Vanguard.